Hello, and welcome to February 17th, 2022. My name is Kurt, and this is the Good Life Meditation, something I do each and every morning to remind myself of my life objectives and principles, and to see how I'm doing applying these to the challenges that I've recently faced, and to prepare for the coming day. First, last night and yesterday. Can you see it in my face? Another good night of sleep. I did wake up before the alarm. I guess it's asking too much to hope to let the alarm wake me up consistently. But it couldn't have been more than 30 minutes, maybe. Yeah, about that right. So that felt good. No tossing and turning for 2 hours before the alarm goes off. Yesterday was a very good day. Another day, one of my principles is the bullseye aim, right? The idea that you strive for the mark and you don't usually hit the bullseye, you're off target. I've been getting lucky lately. Bam, bam, bam. Right on or very close to the mark this week. With important stuff, too, which really sets the stage for movement forward. I want to say, and I guess I will say, my luck can't last. Jinx. But I don't believe in jinxing. That's just a fact. My luck, my luck can't last. I'll miss the mark. Such is life. But, yesterday was a good day. And a hard day. And today's going to be a tough day, too. But I'm feeling more resolved towards that. Plus, yesterday, talking about good use of time, I made, excuse my tissue here. Let me wipe my glasses. How gross to leave it sitting there. It looks like, doesn't look very, it's not very sightly. This is my glass wiping tissue and my chalkboard wiping tissue. Have that at the ready. I always seem to be fumbling for it, which I'm doing just now. Yesterday I was really pleased with myself. If I do say so, it seems like I'm very, very self-congratulatory. I'm full of self-congratulations today. I was reading my book. I made it a long ways through some really deep waters with Aristotle. I'm learning about his idea of how he measures virtue and vices, and how he describes virtue as being the mean between opposing vices. I don't think I'm in a position to be able to describe it well myself. I'm struggling with it. Aristotle's tough. Reading his stuff is more like, it's not like reading Ralph Waldo Emerson, whose writing flows like a mountain brook and tinkles and gurgles with beautiful sound. And if you reach down, dip down to lap up some of the water from the stream of Ralph Waldo Emerson's writings, it's just so delicious. Aristotle is more like getting honey from a beehive. You've got to climb the tree and wave your way through the bees, and reach in and maybe get stung along the way, and the honey comes out and it's sticky and it leaves a mess. But wow, it was really good. Maybe that's why I waited almost 6 decades to attempt Aristotle. Well, anyway, that was yesterday and last night. Let's do the Good Life Meditation. I want to be ready to die with everything in my life in as close to a state of order as possible, especially my affairs related to money, so that my heirs won't be without, my relationships with the aforementioned heirs, and whatever life's work I was striving to complete, have it either complete or as near a state of readiness as possible. and to not waste my time, but to press forward with worthwhile activities and thoughts in a meaningful manner, where meaning is defined as the pursuit of virtue, and virtue in turn is defined as the improvement of happiness, particularly for thinking creatures. And to build and maintain a catalog of principles and objectives to strive for and use towards these better ends. And to remember always that I have no soul. God is an illusion, a dream, a wish. There is no heaven, there is no hell. There's only these moments that we have right now. And the thing that I call me, the electrical impulses that are firing in my brain will wink out utterly when there's insufficient blood pressure to keep the machinery going, and my body dies piece by piece, leading with my consciousness never to come back. And that as hard as I might want to be with other people, I'm always utterly alone, unreachable. Even in the fondest embrace of a loved one, still utterly alone. Because none of us can really reach out and truly touch another from the isolated, lonely outpost that is our consciousness. And that within that framework, that place that I call the home of my consciousness, right up here. That's where I keep my collection of things that I consider good and bad, ideas that I've formulated and maintain as my opinions, and work on and refine and share with others. Good and evil exist between my ears. And to have purpose. A reason to get up every day. Something to do that's worthwhile, that makes life good. And for me, my purpose is to be a father. Even after my daughter's grown, I'll still be her dad. And also to be a virtuous man, making the world a better place, as I mentioned before. And to pursue my mission, which is the sharing of my completed life's work, which is going alone. My book, my story, my objectives and principles, all laid out here. Not just the aforementioned objectives and principles, but how I came about getting them. Available on Amazon and at goingalone.org. To remember my true limits and my true opportunities. Boy, that really came home this morning. I was taking a shower. My hair's still wet. And I was thinking about something at work that 3 years ago I would have wasted energy, mental energy, trying to solve a problem that is beyond my reach. And I recognized that I could apply that principle, true limits and true opportunities, and say, that's a true limit. Now it's a limit that I could attempt to address someday if I choose to advance my career in that direction. But for now, I'm not going to worry too much about that. Dare I say it's somebody else's problem, a higher pay grade. That's why they have that higher pay grade. So I'll just continue to do my work. What's within my control is doing a very good job with at my pay grade for my work. Yeah. And then to always do one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly and deliberately. Now my 30 principles. I'm at war with everything that I believe is true. I would love to use reason, honesty, objectivity, and doubt to destroy utterly everything that I think is true, and to be left with nothing. What a great life that would be. I'm thinking I mixed things up. Oh well. Oh well. It's the danger of this new approach that I've taken to reciting the good life in a more narrative way, the way I'm trying to do. I kind of lose track. It's all in my mind, the catalog, but I think I mixed some of the principles up with the objectives. Oh well. So I'll skip ahead. Wow, that really messed me up. Let me go back. A true limit, I failed. Let me go back to the objectives and just quickly enumerate them to make sure I covered them, and then I'll carry on. Be always ready to die. Good and effective use of time. Development and maintenance of good and sound life principles. Cultivation of good emotional reactions. That's the one I missed. Cultivate good emotional reactions. React well to the day. Perform good actions. That's the one I missed too. Just do good things throughout the day. There we go. So I mix those up. I put in the homunculus and the the Anchorhold, and the home of good and evil in place of those two. So I took 3 principles and put them in place of 2 objectives. So now I'm back on track. so I can skip over the homunculus, the home of good and evil, and Anchorhold in the home of good and evil, and then purpose. I already did that one too. And then atomic principle. Let's see if I can carry on my narrative way. If I practice at this, I'll get this down. And then this whole thing will be more like storytelling than saying a rosary. The universe is full of little things, atoms. And you and I are each composed of those as well. And they're not permanent. And we all have a particular nature, the nature of the composition of the atoms of which we are made, and in the way that they are composed, and the activities that they've performed and are performing now results in our nature, which yields our decisions, which are by no means our own. They are a result of all the events that have occurred that have led to now. This influence upon us, nudging us in one way or another, yielding a particular decision, where free will, therefore, is an illusion. And we're mature when we have the ability to remember our past successes and failures, and the strength to pursue the former and avoid the latter. And we need to be social, because we wither and die when we're too long alone. Even if we thrive, in a way we wither and die. It is the nature of our species to be with one another, to need one another. We do better with others. And to work to communicate well, both verbally and written speech, to be careful about what I say, to choose my words carefully, and to never ever gossip. And to be temperate in my consumption of all things. I failed yesterday. I ate too many cookies for sure after dinner. But a man can only expect so much. I need to remember to apply apathy to the things for which I have no control. And to remember that the world is a horror show. Just utterly awful things going on all over the place. And I want to remember that so that I can roll up my sleeves and take part in alleviating some of the suffering. But also so that I can remember what I have to bear along the way as I strive towards my own objectives, which are the ultimately the objective of virtue. And to keep it inside when I'm upset, to not blow up and spew it out, but to contain my own upset and anger and unhappiness. It doesn't mean I can't talk about it. It doesn't mean I can't seek help. It just means I'm not going to blow up, because that doesn't do much other than to alleviate the pressure at the expense of others. I can blow up alone in the desert if I want to. I can scream at the stars. Not that I'd really do this kind of things anymore. There was a time when I would get, maybe twice in my life, that I've railed at the heavens, shouted at the wind. Why? But that was so long ago in my youth, I can barely remember, just barely touch upon the incident. And even then, it may have been partially just for the sake of drama. It's never really been my way to blame. It's always been my way to puzzle through. Like working on a puzzle. Just can't find a piece to fit in that spot. Damn it. Just keep working at it. That's one way through life. To not spend my life distracting myself from the great indifference, which is the label that I give for the emptiness of the universe. The apprehension of a universe without God, or at least a God that chooses to make its presence unknown, to hide, maybe, but for all intents and purposes does not appear to be there. I'd rather face that fact and live well through the application of my own efforts towards better living. All right. To be happy where I am now, what I'm doing now, and who I am now. And to keep at all times a plan for moving forward in life, where I can collect facts, make a decision, and be prepared to use my gut instinct to help inform that decision if it's a tough one. Pardon me. That's the path of wildness. And to remember there are lots of challenges and risks to take on in life. Some of them are those that are sanctioned by society, and some of those are those that are sanctioned by our own internal interest. And I recommend taking on both. Seek after ourselves, preferably at a young age, and then come back and then, if you want to, assemble a quality life from the materials around you, a career and a family, a home, all things to do. And to avoid the sins of believing too easily, too readily, being untrue in my own right, believing things based on faith, which is nothing more than the assertion that the belief itself is its own justification, or to linger in hope, where there's no motive force, or to believe things because it's part of the tradition, or because someone in authority tells us that it's true, and to never ever gossip. The consequence of these things is a damned life right now. And to remember again that there is no afterlife. There appears to be no heaven or hell, and no spirit, no soul, and that death is going to be a return to whatever state it was that we were not in, because I don't think it was the state we were in. Whatever that was before we were born, that's what's going to happen again. So if you want to spend time with loved ones, do it now while you can. If you have issues to work on with people, then work on them today. And pursue justice now. Not vigilante justice, of course, but through proper means. And to have that aforementioned great life adventure, something to be a centerpiece of your life, something to write your own story about later. Or if not a story, at least to have a tale to tell while you last. And then to remember that this life is a seemingly like a forum for an opportunity for us to live well. And that though we may strive for the mark we usually miss, and life's a struggle upward. That's why each step is so heavy, because we're moving upward when we're trying. And to enjoy the view from those higher reaches as our eyes begin to fade. And to be satisfied with less, especially the higher we climb. And to try to live a happy life. All right, that's my good life meditation. Now, the coming day. I did something different yesterday. I keep a work log. So it's a document that I have for every project. I open this document, and not even that. I have one for that for projects too, but I have my own work log it's a catalog of what I do every day. I started this at the time of COVID when I had no record to, my boss couldn't come and hover over my shoulder and see what I was doing. So as I go through the day, I write the time and what I'm doing, and then I do that thing, go work on that, and then I come back and I write the time, I finish that, move on to something else. Yesterday I did something a little bit different. I had a lot of things to do and I needed to make sure I did them. So I laid out in that catalog a timetable. At 7:30 I would start doing this, 7:30 a.m. And then by 9 I would work on this. By 10 I had a meeting, you see all the way down. And then as I finished those things, I grade them out. And then what I was left with at the end was a list and a few items that were not graded. Those are the items that I needed to do that I failed to do. So I can just move those to today. I like that. That worked really well. Can't believe it took me this long to figure that out. So today I've got a couple of meetings that I have to do that are important. And it's just like yesterday. And I have a couple of tasks that I need to do. It's going to be a full day. I mean, my days are very full. So I'm going to try this new technique. It's not really a new technique. It's just a slight refinement of the technique I was using before to better manage my time. Excuse me, I don't anticipate being ambushed by much today. Although I do need to make sure I have a chance to prepare for the second day of training that I'm going to be leading today. I'm the instructor. All right, that's it. Have a good day. Be safe, but not too safe.